Because you can't replace Kim. Bet, dude.
I had somebody say, "Hey, I was looking you guys up on social media. Wanted to really watch your videos. See a lot of you, none of Kevin. I thought he was a part of your thing."
Somebody said that.
Yes, Trail. You're
Yes,
right.
Trail, you need to watch our podcasts because that's what I'm a part of.
Then I have to always explain to people your whole social media hiatus.
How do you explain it? Come on.
I tell them you've been off for a couple years. They're
That's
like,
it?
"Why?" I'm like, "Choose your own story.
Fill in the blank.
Fill in the blank." It's one of those books where it's like, if you want this ending,
Turn to this page.
yeah, if you want this ending, go to that page.
Yeah. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what you do, but
No. I said, he's off the social media. He's trying to reconstruct his worldview. See?
Wow.
Your worldview and your filter. Just like I talked to these kids tonight. This is a study that I'm doing now. How to recreate your filter
Yeah.
and your worldview.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to do when we live in the world.
Is it?
I mean, I've been off social media for so long.
Is it hard or do we make it hard?
Your circumstances can have a big impact on that.
But do your circumstances define the person that you are in the future?
No, but they have a big part in the choices you make.
Yeah, when you go to your socioeconomic filters, that's your manners.
The
way
three
you were
M's.
raised.
3 M's.
No, it has nothing to do with 3 M's. That seems like a worldview. But it's how you were brought up, the environment around you, the music you listen to, the media you consume, movies, TV shows, all that stuff kind of shapes the person that you are today.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So, is that a biblical worldview or just a worldview?
I mean, if you watch Christian movies and Christian music.
Well, I got hit with this. So, when I first started my Christian walk and my walk with the Lord, I was a strong advocate to say, no, this music doesn't have any effect on the way I live my life. If I listen to Kendrick Lamar, I'm obviously not going to live the lifestyle that Kendrick Lamar lives. If I listen to Slipknot, I'm not doing the things that they're talking about in their songs. If I watch rated R movies, if I watch Saw, if I watch horror movies, I'm not actually going out there to become a serial killer. So that doesn't shape who I am. Until I was confronted.
You murdered someone?
With this study. No.
Oh.
And then you get to thinking you might not act in the actions that these people do, but it changes your mindset.
The way you think.
For sure.
Yeah.
The music that you listen to. Whenever you get mad at somebody, you're like, and you box that up, and then a song comes on.
Mm-hmm.
And that song might talk about unaliving that person in that song. And then immediately your brain goes to that guy that cut me off in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And what did Christ say? If you commit murder, and you can commit murder with your mind.
If you hate someone,
Yeah.
it's like committing murder.
So, yeah, your music does influence the way you think,
Yeah.
the way you react to things. Yeah, I told these kids tonight, I said, that doesn't mean you necessarily just have to listen to 100% worship gospel music, because some of that is not good either. Some of that shapes the way you think into an ideology that's not good, that's not biblical all the way, because it's a lot of feel good. Get in your, I heard John Cooper say, get in your feels. So some of that's not totally, but it's looking at the world through the lens of Christ.
So you're saying we should all be Amish?
No, we should all put on Christ.
Oh.
We should all put on these invisible glasses that have the lens of what Christ was looking through, and that's what we're supposed to walk through every day. With the mindset, the lens, and the attitude of Christ.
Yeah.
Knowing that we're not going to do it perfect, but if we slip up and we automatically smack ourselves back in to the mindset and looking through the lens of Christ, we would see things a lot different. The Holy Spirit, when it takes over, you start listening to the songs that we used to listen to, and then all of the sudden, you're like, man, what? I don't even get any enjoyment out of this song.
Yeah.
And it's typically for guys, it's probably a lot of the songs we listened to when we were younger that had to do with sexual inappropriate things.
Yeah, womanizing.
And then you're like, I don't like that. Yeah, there's still a lot of rage songs out there that you probably can work out to. Like I was riding with Pat. I was riding with him to putt-putt golf last night.
Yeah.
And he learned how to put music, or somebody put music on his phone. And he's like, hey, check this out. You ever heard this? I'm like, yeah, that's Metallica. Oh, yeah. Oh, what about this? And it's, I'm like, yeah, that's Metallica again. Man, this is good stuff to work out to. So I'm like, obviously,
Yeah.
turned him on to that, and I'm like, yeah, that's Metallica. And he's like, oh, he kept his son from going to a Guns N' Roses concert when he was younger, and never really got the secular, like, what I don't like what they, but now it's how you discern through it. So as a new believer, I do highly recommend maybe taking a break from a lot of that trash, that dumpster fire music that's just like kill, 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 womanize.
Yeah.
Take a break from it just for a little bit, just to get your mind right.
You know how hard that is to do, though?
It is really hard, but
especially for a new believer.
But did Christ ever say it was going to be easy?
No.
And your friends are going to think of you different, but
do you think of the
first
habits,
they hated him?
The habits you develop when you listen to certain types of music, and you're like,
yeah,
that's where I'm comfortable. And
even you get into, you're like, well, I'm going to be safe and listen to country music. 95% of the songs is about shacking up with your lady and just getting wasted in your tailgate of your truck.
Yeah.
It's
my dog died.
No, it's not even that. It's all about
I lost my
drunk.
job.
Pretty sure that's just called stereotyping.
Oh. I ain't got no money.
We just lost half our audience.
I love country music.
So, but you got to be so careful now. I believe that's why a lot of times the Holy Spirit put discernment in my heart because of what I was listening to. We rode in silence for a while.
You still do that.
Yeah, but that wasn't for my whole life. Dude, I love music. I have a musical library that would blow most people's minds.
Yeah.
It's insane. I have this jukebox in my head that just songs within the first 2 seconds come on, and I can tell you who it is, what song it is, and about what year it was coming out. I just so much was going in and out, and some of it was not good stuff to listen
Yeah.
to. But now, yeah, I could ride in silence and discern now what comes on my feed and what is good and what's not good. And it's the same thing with movies. We used to go to a movie theater with me and my buddies all the time to watch the newest horror flick that came out.
Yeah.
And now I can't get through the first 10 minutes because I'm like, what is this? Is disgusting. You know, it's not good.
Yeah.
It's demonic.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying there isn't any good horror movies out there, and I still enjoy a good, you know, scare flick or whatever. You know, I like to.
Scare flick.
But when it gets so twisted and demonic, it's like, this is definitely altering your mind into when you're going to bed.
Mm-hmm.
You're just opening up so much to Satan because you're at a weak moment. You're scared, and he's like, good.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah, that's to each their own. I mean, if you're a new Christian and you're really trying to get through it and you're really wanting to change your mindset, then you got to start with the hard stuff. You got to stop with the bad music. You got to stop with the
Social media.
junk. Yeah. If your social media's got a bad feed and an algorithm that's disgusting, which I hear a lot of podcasters and people, media influencers that talk about the junk that goes through Instagram and Twitter. It's bad. I am lucky that I haven't went in those rabbit holes, and my social media is still very clean. And I owe a lot of that to starting the Street Smart Christian Ministry because I don't want that tied in with it because I look at the future. This ministry was to take off and we were doing bigger, better things. I don't need somebody to say, but look what was on their feed. Look what their algorithms tied to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, murder, sex, all that kind of stuff on there.
Yeah.
It creeps through every now and then, but you just got to be real quick and just much as you want to look, you just got to hit that block.
Yeah. It
And
seems like, though, when you do that, you block stuff, it pops up more.
it does for sure. It's definitely the cards are stacked against you as a Christian influence in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely takes somebody with a special mindset. The Lord has blessed me with some of that. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of times I find myself slipping like, oh, what's this? Dang it. I got to get through there and I got to get this out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely takes somebody who really has an agenda and wants to stick to it. But it's not easy. Christ said it wasn't going to be easy. First, they hated him. They're going to hate us too. So it's not easy, and nobody likes Christian influencers. Nobody likes Christian anything on the internet. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been going at this for 2 years, and it's a tooth and nail. You know, it's tough, but that filter that you have to get in your mindset, the worldview that you have is this isn't for us, it's for the glory of God. And once you get through those weeds, you know, the sky's the limit. So, you know, so we got in culture too. I mean, I guarantee that half the things that you've done or the way you do things is because
What do you
of
think?
where you came from. The way you think, for sure. I mean, you've probably learned discipline, respect, do's and don'ts a lot from your parents. And family members, friends, family, stuff like that. You pick up habits, you pick up things, and I started thinking about that too. Like, 90% of what I do is because that's what my family did. That you go back to the scriptures, and scriptures tell us, for this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father. And the Bible gets pretty harsh about it. Like, you see ya. I'm gonna start my own life now.
Yeah.
Hope you do all right. And you take your wife and your kids and you start your own family mindset.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about political ideologies. That definitely comes from, I can for sure, dude, tell you that if my family's Republican, I'm Republican.
Yeah.
If my family's Democrat, I'm probably going to do that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us are so, we're not going to step out. There are people that are like, I'm going to do exactly
Do
the
the
opposite of what
opposite,
everybody
yeah.
does. But a biblical filter and a biblical mindset and a worldview, man, that's what we all need to strive for, because that's where you filter out the junk for truth.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are like, this book, that's all the truth you need. Yeah.
Yeah,
bro.
it is.
Because, you know, in this study I'm doing, it's going, what is truth? You wake up tomorrow and you throw on Fox News, CNN, or the local news, you can take everything that they say as truth,
Mm-hmm.
or B, listen and then search the scriptures to see if this is so.
Yeah. Yeah, you can really apply
And
the
the
Bible to
only
anything in your
way
life.
we can do this with a filter is to A, stay in the Word every day, 30 minutes a day. Stay in the Word, and anytime something's coming up, search the scriptures, and somebody wants to argue with you about it, say, then point to me in this Bible where it says that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's been the biggest thing that I've learned in my discipleship thing is, in the world that we're living in now, a lot of people are arguing that this is right, this is right, this is right. And it's easy for us to say, like, no, what do you mean it's not right? Because I'm a Christian. The only ammunition that we need is to tell people, okay, if that's right, then show me in this book where it says that's right.
Yeah.
We're gonna lose a lot of friends doing that.
They'll do the same back to you, though.
That's
You
why.
show
That's
me.
why I said we're gonna. That's why we got to be in the Word every day,
Mm-hmm.
so we can flip to James and say, faith without works is dead. But you can't get there through work. You know, we got to know all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're going to lose a lot of friends by saying, no, I don't agree with that because the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I love y'all, but I don't agree with homosexuality.
Mm-hmm.
So I will not be a part of your homosexual festivities or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? Because right here in Scripture it says,
Mm-hmm.
this is a sin, and I am not to be a part of your sin nature. But then I guess we can't be friends. Well, guess what? I love you, brother. But I can't. It's too much of a gamble to say, well,
Yeah, I mean, that's where the world starts to make exceptions, and churches make exceptions, and they say, oh, well, that was for the times. That wasn't for
right.
now. But the Bible is applicable in any time, any situation. It really speaks to our current situation.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you can't deny that. Like, how did this history repeats itself?
Yeah.
It doesn't. There's nothing new under the sun. Like it just repeats itself and is a different flavor. And
Have you ever? So I'm going to use some words here, so bear with me. Have you ever fantasized about drawing that line in the sand.
What-
You've probably seen it on movies. You've probably seen it on like you got to choose sides, man. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And the dude like draws a line in the sand. Either you're on this side or you're on that side.
Yeah.
Pick a side. But this is where I'm drawing a line in the sand.
Stand on the line.
What?
What if they stand on the line?
Then you punch him and you say, pick a side, dude. You can't be wishy-washy. But have you ever fantasized about drawing that line in the sand and then really sticking to those guns? I mean, that's scary, even for me and you, to say, starting today, we are only going to, and this is what we're striving for, so we're not saying we're not going to do this, but starting tomorrow, we're drawing a line in the sand. We only have a biblical worldview. In everything else,
Just noise.
yeah, well, yeah, and you're brutally honest with everybody you encounter.
Yeah.
Brutally honest.
That's
To
where
the point where it's like, I love you, but you're wrong.
that's where hypocrisy comes into play, because we can't, as humans, we can't do that. We fail every time.
Exactly, but we can draw a line in the sand and say, this is how we're going to start to live.
Yeah.
Like we are
But it's-
so wishy-washy. as
It's not that
humans.
black and white, because we sit there and we'll find ourselves on the other side of the line as you walk down the road, and you're like, what am I doing here? And without discernment, without the Holy Spirit,
Right?
you won't know that
No.
unless you're in the Word and walking with Christ. But
So this is where that illustration of your filter comes in. You either have a filter as a woven fence, a hog panel, where the squares are like this,
lattice,
and that's your biblical worldview, but the holes are this big.
hmm
And so just as you're explaining, well, we want to do this, but we fall short because of this. Well, that's because our filter has holes in it this big.
hmm
And what we need to be doing is closing those gaps and making it from a hog fence to a mosquito net.
yeah,
Once that mosquito net is up, little tiny things will come through, but those little tiny things are easier to swat away than a Volkswagen.
yeah,
Because yeah, we're never going to be 100% on everything, but as soon as we start looking through the lens of Christ
hmm
and not just like this eyes in the world, this eyes on Christ,
yeah,
and then we put our glasses on when it's time to shine.
yeah.
Church.
That's the scriptures. You can't serve two masters.
And the only way that we're going to be able to accomplish any of this stuff is doing what we both lack in, and that is getting in the Word.
Mhm.
And not just getting in the Word to check a box, but getting in the Word to drastically change our lives.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying me and you or anybody around us has figured it out 100%. We definitely know some that are mentors to us that are doing a lot better. It's going to be even harder. For sure. And I'm not just picking on you.
what do you mean?
Well, it's just harder because you're going out into the world by yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have accountability partners in Christ. I have accountability partner at home
yeah,
that I have to check in with every night.
yeah,
You don't. Once you leave here or church, it's just you.
hmm
You and the devil. It's just you and Satan stepping in the ring every time you walk
Yeah.
out of this place.
yeah,
Every time you walk out of these doors, it goes ding, ding, and it's you and Satan. And you guys get into a boxing match
yeah. And that's
over and over again.
that's why I was telling them kids tonight about relationship. It really boils down to that too, because
Right.
if you don't have a relationship like you
Right.
do with your wife, or where there's accountability across the board, yeah, you're going to be alone with your thoughts. And there's not a single person in the world that can do that flawlessly.
No, they can't, but we can close the gap.
Mm-hmm.
We can never beat, but that's where narrow is the path
Mm-hmm.
that leads to righteousness. Wide is the path that leads to destruction.
Yeah.
So if we go into it with 100%, like, yes, of course, we know we can't do it perfect, but if we keep beating ourselves over the head every time we make a mistake, well, we can't do it perfect.
Yeah.
Well, then there's your wide gate. Narrow that gap and say, I know I can't do it perfect, but I'm going to try.
Yeah.
I'm going to try. Now, you don't want to beat yourself up and knock yourself down all the time because you're failing all the time. But you'll fail less and less when you're trying to look through the lens of Christ.
Yeah.
When you're trying to step into his sandals and walk with God. I mean, that's what we have to do. And I fall short. Now, I just said that you leave these doors and you have this huge boxing ring with Satan. I'm not, just because I'm married doesn't mean that I'm out of that. I have this time to this time
Mm-hmm.
to where I am in a
Where you sit in your car
battle.
alone with no
And
music.
so now Satan knows that he has less time with me than he does with you. So now he's going to ramp it up. So instead of giving you a 24-hour day where he's like, oh, I'm going to mess with you all day, he's like, I only got like 9 hours with him.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do the worst.
Yeah.
And I step in the ring, and then I go, and he's like, oh, crap. He's got a little bit of time with him. So when he leaves that restaurant, guess what? I'm going to kick him right in the boo. And it's rough. But this filter that we've been talking about, it's like, man, today, I was at work and I thought, what does it look like to look through the lenses of Christ? And I tried it a few times, just like listen to my uncle cuss at some doors and stuff like, I hate these doors, hanging these doors. And I'm just like, what if I was Jesus holding this door and he was acting like this? What would I do?
Mm-hmm.
I just stayed calm. All right. Yeah. I didn't agree and start cussing back or nothing. It's weird. Now, I'm not saying that you look through the lens of Christ and that's who you are as Christ. No. I am just trying to emulate and be more like Christ. I am not Christ. I am far from it. I'm not perfect, but our goal is to act, walk, and see more like Christ every day.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying, and nah, dude, it only lasts a couple minutes because then, dude, Monday I got to work and we went to go do a job, and oh boy from the job calls, man, it's not ready. Even though my boss said it was 100%. Had to stop, turn around, and just, sorry guys, we ain't got nothing to do today.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't say it like that. Not even close, bro. I was just
bleep,
like,
bleep, bleep, bleep.
yeah, I was like, no. Went home and I'm like, man, it's like those shower scenes you see in a movie where a guy's crying. You know what I mean? Because he like he's smiling and doing his stupid crap all day, and then he's in the shower like, why am I? Dude, it's like
still
that.
on?
Yeah, it's like, man. And then days like yesterday, where you get off work and get with the guys from church and stuff, and go play putt-putt golf. It's like, why can't this be every day?
Yeah.
Everybody's chill.
Well, without the darkness, you wouldn't appreciate the light.
There is darkness because our pastor is very competitive, and I was making fun of him a lot. And he was getting very angry with me. Like, he's so competitive, bro. And I was just talking trash, and he's like, all right, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hit you in the face with this golf club. And I'm like, whoa, dude. I'm about to knock your teeth out. And I'm like, whoa, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. But
That was the cost of the fruit, man. I mean, gives us the knowledge of good and evil, and it's been a struggle ever since.
but you know what? We also got to look at our worldview through this lens too. Is we have been so blessed that we don't have a religious worldview,
Yeah. That's
and
an
we can sit here and talk about it,
easy
talk
trap to
about it,
fall into, yeah.
but we've never any any of us been in a religious theology, ideology, religion. And yeah, I had one time my first discipleship relationship. I was really big on the relationship, not religion. And so was this person too. But then he's like, but you have to listen to what religion is. Religion is a word like Christianity. Christianity is an umbrella that covers a wide, huge thing.
Hmm.
I can say I'm a Christian. Our Catholic brothers and sisters can say they're Christian. Our Mormon brothers and sisters can say they're Christian. Our Jehovah Witness brothers and sisters can say they're Christian. The only ones who don't is our Muslim brothers. They'll get there.
They don't say that?
No, they're not Christian. They're Muslim.
That's right.
Christianity follows Christ.
Yeah.
It's the root word in Christian is Christ. Muslims
Christendom.
believe in Christ, but he's not God.
Yeah.
So that long story short is it's like religion. Religion is an even bigger umbrella. So Catholics are religious, Baptists are religious, Christians are religious, Jehovah's Witnesses are religious. They're all religions. However, the difference between those is the ideologies. It's the man-made rules within the religion. So, little story that my first
But
discipleship
wouldn't
program.
that exactly right there change it? If you truly follow Christ, Christ's rules are not man-made.
Right.
They're
Well,
made by God.
that's what it is. Religion came first. Then people added their man-made flavors to it. So, like this illustration this man taught me was he said he went to a church which had a concert. It was a Christian thing, and an act came out and said, "Religion sucks." And immediately the guy was like, I get what you're saying. However, without it, we would never have Christ. And you got to look up the definition. And I will have before this is, you got to listen to, and I'm paraphrasing
Right.
everything. So don't take my word for it because I don't want to mold your mind into it. But the way that he explained it to me, and it's, here's the other thing, is that word has been so tainted and bastardized and bashed because of man's view and
Because of
the way they've
actions.
shaped it.
Yeah.
Yes. It's the same thing. And you can say the same thing about Christianity. The way that it's being stomped into the ground, shaped and formed. That when I go out on the street and tell people that I'm a Christian, I'm leaving a very vague, they don't know what that means. I can say I'm a Christian, and somebody on the street could have been sexually assaulted by the Catholic Church and think that I'm associated with that. You know what I mean? Or I can say I'm a Christian, and somebody could have been in a polygamist Mormon cult, and they're like, oh, that's what my parents said they were.
Yeah.
I could say I'm a Christian. Somebody could be like, you're a Baptist then? No. Yeah, but my Baptist brothers and sisters say that they're Christian. So
Yeah,
are
there's
you
the
different?
problem. There's the problem.
There's the problem. There's the root word. Yes, we all have to have a relationship with Christ. That is first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that
So, okay.
it doesn't line up that way. Where
So
without
here-
religion, you don't have Christ. I don't think that lines up for me because
the definition,
Christ is at the beginning, bro.
the definition of
For
religion, the definition from the dictionary and from what the root word comes from is the belief in and worship of a superhuman or God. Forgive Webster's dictionary, God. Power or powers, especially God, of God. That is the root word of religion, is worship. The belief and worship of God. Now you take in man, religions. There's where you put the S on the end. Religions, not religion. Religions. And now you start adding in, this is my religion. This is my religion. This is my religion. So if you go just based off the definition, which is what the guy that discipled me from goes right off the definition of religion, is the belief and worship of God. Now you put the S on the end of it, you open up the whole door. Just like, I guess, if you put the S on the end of Christians, you open up this whole thing. But this is what we do as humans. I feel like Donald Trump now. This is what we do as humans. We take something good and we destroy it. We taint it.
Yeah.
We make it disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, we take the word love, comes right out of the Bible. And then every time I try to do a hashtag on our podcast and I put hashtag love, immediately it wants to say love is love. No. And it tries to make it something LGBTQ. It tries to make it transgenderism. It tries to make it love who you want to love. No.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So with that being said, the root word of religion, obviously, when the guy said that, the guy came out and religion sucks. But wait a minute, that's a belief in worshiping God. Now, if he would have came out and said that there are some religions are bad, yeah, because they put the S on
religions suck.
You put the S on the end of it, which then makes more sense. And I've been studying that a lot in the last few weeks. Like, it just came up because when he first told me that a few years ago, I'm like, yeah, whatever, all right, cool. But now it's like, all right, so that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But when we put the S on things, but it's the same thing. I mean, but it's easy for us to say that we're Christians and not like, hey, what are you? I have a relationship with Jesus Christ. That's also a thin line because so does everybody else.
Well,
except for Muhammad. So the main things is our
I guess
actions.
The difference, like, I want to point out the word relationship.
Oh boy.
The definition of relationship is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, or the state of being connected. Yeah. So I mean, you can't really mess that up, but then it's like you said, you put hashtag love and it says love who you want to love.
Yeah,
and that's
but
a
you can,
relationship, you know,
because two dudes are like, oh, we have a loving relationship.
yeah.
Everything is because our human nature is to screw everything up.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what we do. We take what is scriptural, we take what is real. Like in the study I'm doing, one of the key points we're going to touch on is the phrase is, what's really real? That's the discernment that we have to have. But like you said, it doesn't matter if we say religion, Christianity, relationships. Somebody that's listening right now is going to be like, yeah, I'm religious and I have a relationship with my boyfriend. Like, come on, dude. Like, you just ruin. And love is love. Like everything that we talk about, people are going to twist it and make it their own because that's what we do.
Yeah.
But we have to take it for what it is, biblical truths, to then create a biblical filter to have a biblical worldview. But the thing that sucks is that's not always fun. It can be, but
And it's
it can be,
easy.
but our culture has brainwashed
It's
us.
easy to take that
Yeah.
goal, that mission, and turn it into religion.
But the
what
first
I'm
part
saying?
of this biblical filter thing is culture. And our culture has brainwashed us to say that this isn't fun,
Yeah.
to feel that that's not fun. Because the world wants to show us what is fun,
Yeah.
what is entertaining, what makes us feel good, what makes us get adrenaline rushes.
Getting the feels. Yeah.
Yeah, the world wants to do that. They don't want the Bible to do that.
I think a key point of what you mentioned before from that story was that he said, I get what you're trying to say. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
When you say religion sucks. Because I've said that before.
For sure.
And, man-made religion does suck. And I stand by
Right.
my statement before where, like, with Christ, those rules come directly from God. They're not filtered by a man who sits there and thinks, okay, well, how are people going to take this and that? No. I mean, he's spoken a lot of parables to try and help us understand it. But
that's theology.
yeah, but it's like he calls you to have a relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
And in a relationship, that's an intimate connection between two things, right? It's not going to be whatever you think it should be,
Mm-hmm.
whatever your ideas or your culture has taught you to think that should be.
Mm-mm.
Because when you read the Bible and you read the words of Christ, he tells you exactly what he means.
Right.
There's nothing to confuse. It's straightforward. And it's like, yeah, I need to know that person. And I've talked to people and say, like, people are like, well, you're not accepting because of the way that you view it. And it's like, no, like, have you ever talked to Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
Sat down and had a conversation? No, that's weird. Why would you sit there and talk to yourself? No. See, like, take that out. You're in your head and you're like, no, you're just sitting there talking to a wall, you weirdo. No.
Mm-hmm.
You open your heart and you literally talk to Christ.
Right.
That's where the difference happens, because if you're accepting him without the filters of the world and not seeing through that big pig gate you were talking about, what was it called?
A hog fence.
Hog fence, but you're directly trying to get to know the person that gave his life so that you could spend eternity with him. All you need to do is accept him and believe in him and try to be like him.
Right. But how many of us are doing that every day?
Yeah, it's not.
Because I know me and you
not
probably
easy.
fall short.
I fall short every
Hard.
single day, dude.
Everything that you just said, we should be telling each other in the mirror
Yeah.
every day. I sit there and I do the same thing. And it's so crazy because we can sit here and play this back and listen to everything that we just said,
Yeah.
and guaranteed 2 hours after we leave here,
Yeah.
we already cut it in half.
Yeah.
Because prairie dog's gonna run out in front of me. And I'm gonna hit him and be like, "Hi," and I'm bleep 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 bleep. Dude, it's sickening, bro. And like, that's why I'm glad I'm doing this course on this filter stuff, because I need help getting that worldview.
Yeah.
Because my culture has definitely shaped me. We grew up a lot in the same culture. And it's like, but it sucks, dude, because then you start thinking of it and you're like, well, if I do this person might think that.
Yeah.
And you're like,
That's the thing,
how many,
too, is like a kid.
how many
bro.
friends I got? Well, Jesus
Yeah.
had 12. I only got 4. This sucks.
Yeah, you make stories to complete
because
those
our
thoughts,
culture,
bro.
but our culture has molded us to think that we have to be accepted by everybody that we run into.
Yeah.
And to get that acceptance, we're willing to do anything. Almost, besides the crazy stuff.
Some
But
people.
we're almost able to push things to the side, with other people's thoughts and other people's views. And we're like, oh, we shut this because we don't want confrontation, especially in a group setting. It's easy here because we're all like-minded Christians. And that's why I realize now what Rick says. It's so important to get into a room with like-minded Christians, men especially, because we go out there on our jobs. We go out there and I really don't like what that person's doing, saying, or the way they look. But I can't say nothing because I'm going to lose my job. Or I can't say nothing because then 90% of the office is going to be against me.
Mhm.
Or when you go to Walmart, you just keep your mouth shut and stare at the floor.
Yeah.
Because you're like, but then we come here and we're like, well, but we got to do this and we got to do this and we got to talk to Christ and we got to blah, 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 blah. Only thing we're doing at Walmart is going, Christ, help me get out of here so I don't kill somebody. Like,
So I don't have to
I just
talk
want
to
to go
somebody.
home. I hope my phone don't ring. I hope my wife doesn't want anything else. Get me out of here.
Mhm.
Then we go home. This is even sicker part. We sit here talking about, we got to talk to Christ. We got to talk to Christ. We got to be in a relationship with Christ. We go home and say, I'll talk to him tomorrow. Or flip through your phone. Whoop, 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 whoop. Man, I'm tired.
Yeah.
You get up in the morning like, oh yeah, Father God,
Yeah.
But it sucks because that's the way the world molds us. Every time you flip on the TV, there's antidepressant medications and everybody's depressed and there's introverts, and every meme you see in Christian sites is, oh, when you're the one introvert and the guy at the front says, let's do a meet and greet. Oh, like that's all it is like just junk. Trying to get you not to do anything but, well, I can't be happy unless I have this. I can't function unless I have this. I can't do this unless I have that. It sucks.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jesus is like, well, wish people would start talking to me a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it's getting that filter. We gotta work on our filters. I made a joke the other day when I did a little short, and it's like people say they don't have a filter. I don't have a filter. I just say what I want to say. That's dumb. You should probably get a little bit of a filter. It's usually girls that always say that. I noticed that in the dating world.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have a filter. Well, I hope you get one now. Don't tell me how you feel. Like, dang.
Yeah.
I never had a filter. Like, I think it's better not to have a filter, but then you're thinking, well, if I didn't have a filter, this whole night would be going way different.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's the thing too, is like most of the time you don't even realize it, the filter that you got, because it's usually going to be that wide open gate, bro. Just everything flowing through it. If you have no restraints, you're supposed to take every thought captive.
Yeah. Well, you know what? What really should scare us? Is like when I started doing this disciple course that I'm with now, and every now and then it gets brought up that one day you're going to answer
Everything.
Well, no, not even just think of this. Think of this. Every single thought that went through your head.
Mm-hmm.
Think of that. Do you remember what you thought about yesterday?
If I tried really hard, maybe.
Do you know what you thought about last month? Every single day?
Mm-mm.
Every second?
Mm-mm.
what Jesus does,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got it on record, and you're going to sit there,
Yeah.
and he's going to say, eh.
Yeah. Well, there's the beauty in the fact that he's not going to hold any of that against us.
No, but he's going to make you sit there, and you're going to be sitting with Jesus, not your mother, not your grandmother. That's bad enough. You're sitting there with Jesus. Every thought.
Yeah. As long as you get past that first statement, though, of turn away from me, I never knew you. You're safe. It's gonna suck, but you're safe with him because he died for that.
Yeah,
He
but
died to wash you.
so does that give you the green light to go ahead and think all these dirty things all the time?
Mm-mm.
Because you're safe, right? So
No.
it doesn't matter. You can just think about whatever you want.
If you're truly safe, you would really have a true relationship with Christ.
And you wouldn't want to think of that stuff.
Yeah.
So you would try harder not to.
Yeah.
So we should be getting more upset with ourselves.
Yeah, but you don't want to go too far either.
What?
Too far with beating yourself down.
Well, no, but you should turn from the
180.
repent. Means to
180.
turn.
180. Not 360 because you're right back where you started.
Here we go. Here we go.
That's just science, bro.
Let's talk about our producer for a minute. We're getting towards the end of our podcast
We
here.
have one of those? Oh.
This is where I'm going to show just a blank
Empty
screen with a cricket sound.
The camera.
I'm going to put a cricket sound there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find a clip where we're like, we're really looking for a producer here. We think we got one. I'll just play pictures of him and then be like, pretty, pretty.
In the arms.
Yep. Just put a halo over him with like the sparkle
No,
filter.
he's not dead.
No, he's not dead. He's dead to me.
No.
I'm going to put
Here
this
we
is,
go.
This is where application goes across. Fill out your application here. We're just like this. Crickets in the background. Fill out your applications at streetsmartchristian@gmail.com. I'm going to start discipling a young man. Mr. Theo Brooks reached out to me today. Wants to be disciple. I'm going to disciple him, and I'm going to pay for his college to do producing and then fire your brother immediately.
Pay for his college.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when your brother's out on the street corner busking with one of them, like,
What's busking?
Busking is the term used for those guys that sit on corners and play guitars with their guitar case open and people throw change in there.
It's called busking?
busking.
Are you sure?
Yeah, bro.
That does not sound right.
Just look it up.
Are you sure I should look this up?
Look it up. Right now, I want to play a video above us of the guy busking.
The activity of playing music in the street or another public
Apologize
place
to me. Apologize.
for voluntary donations.
Apologize to me right now, thinking that I was going to lead you somewhere wrong. It's called busking. Yes.
Is busking a form of begging?
Well, they're on the. You've seen them. They're on the streets. Some of them are not even poor. That's just what they do. They throw a guitar case out there. Some of them, like this one guy I watch on TikTok, he has like one of them things where he sits down. It looks like a suitcase, but it's like a bass drum. So he hits the like with his, and it plays like, and then this foot hits a hi-hat. And then he has a harmonica and he plays like,
Talent, bro.
and he's doing all that with everything. And then they throw change and money in his hat.
Says, how to get rid of a busker.
Yeah, because they
Approach the busker and explain politely that you are being troubled by noise.
well, you see a lot of those guys on TikTok that are doing it. They'll be doing it for a while, and then they get such big crowds if they're good they get such big crowds around them that the cops have to show up and they're like, all right, we got to shut this down. Like,
Need a permit for this?
well, no, they're either blocking the sidewalk or the noise because they're going so long. But there's a lot of them that are really good. That aren't poor. That's just what they do. And they get big crowds. Like some of them are really good. And there's some, the ones that are kind of cool, like the guys in California and stuff. They'll be busking, and it's almost always cover songs. They've been playing somebody, and then that person, like from Maroon 5, the singer, will just like be walking by and hear somebody playing their song, and then they'll stop by and grab a microphone and start singing with them. You'll see that, or that was just an example, but it could be anybody from a band. They're like, that's my
Brennan
song.
would be good at busking, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That's why he's better get good at it, because he's not going to work here anymore. Antone's going to be 47 years old before the last podcast he did when he was 20 comes out.
It's from the archives.
Yeah, I was watching Something's Burning is like a cooking podcast with celebrities and comedians. And the comedian ended up having to go on tour, and he's like, but don't worry, we're still going to put these out because I have like 2 years worth of these filmed. So if it looks a little different, it's because it's like 5 years old.
It's an archive.
And I'm like, well, I guess that's what we're doing. He's got like 10 million followers. We got 5, but I guess we're going to do the same thing.
Ooh.
It was Bert Kreischer that was that, but yeah, it's like, and he archives them, and people are like, yeah, but we love you. We archive them. They're like, oh, great, these guys are.
We don't care what people
Are
think.
they even still around?
Well, we do, but we don't.
I been putting out shorts on YouTube and stuff, and been getting some traction with comments and stuff like that. I let AI determine the title of something, and it was good. But then somebody's like, historic biblical truths. Huh, what does that even mean? Like, oh man, dude, like, come on, bro. We have now truths. I'm like, every time, dude. I didn't even respond. I was like, thanks for commenting at least.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, it's always at the end. But that guy commented, and I don't know what he was talking about, but love you, brother.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go busk now. I'm going to use that word so much.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, my uncle didn't know that either.
Where did you hear that? On some freaking TikTok?
Yeah. Well, because this guy, he said, I'm a professional busker.
You're like, what the?
And then he's like playing the harmonica, and I'm like, and then another different, like you get in that algorithm. And somebody,
So you questioned him too?
No, well, at the beginning, yeah, nobody knows what that word is. Then I learned it, and then
Street performer.
there's those other ones that people, like the cops say, hey man, there's no busking here. And now if you go like downtown Colorado Springs,
this is America.
There are signs downtown Colorado Springs that say no busking. Because they don't want people sitting on the sidewalk playing a guitar. Because then people stop and they surround that person, and then the whole thing is blocked. But there's a lot of them, like on the 16th Street Mall and stuff like that. And there's designated areas and parks and places like that where they can go. It's not illegal. It's not like panhandling because they're actually doing something. But busking, if you're going to talk about it, then be about it. Yeah.